Hey GenderqueerChat viewers, Christina here again for your Wednesdays on GenderqueerChat. The topic this week is how has your gender affected your career? Did it affect the field you choose to go in? And if you were cis, do you think you would have chosen a different path? Do you feel your gender variance has hurt or helped you in gaining success in your work? Do you ever worry about your job security because of your gender? I am currently unemployed, so I can't really directly answer this question, unfortunately. So instead, I'm going to talk about my life as a student and my education throughout the years and my current education and, for the most part, my current education and that sort of thing. And I could delve into another part of my life that isn't really a job, but it's a prominent activity that I'm doing, which is my choir. So, I'll probably mostly focus on education though. How has your gender affected your career? Okay, so how has my gender affected my education? I don't think there's really been I don't really think my gender has really affected whether, if I do well in school or not. Same with my my choir. Well, choir is a whole other side, so choir is a very gendered thing, period, because you have girls in the sopranos and altos, and you have boys, for the most part, in the tenors and basses, and I have the range of a tenor, and so I've been a tenor, for as long as I've been in any choirs, including when I went to high school. So, yeah. But focusing mostly on education, I don't really think gender really plays a role, especially where I'm currently going, because the teachers don't really know me that well, right? I'm just going in and doing my stuff, and that's pretty much it. And they don't mark me based on gender, and of course it doesn't really come up in terms of, because I'm not trying to pass as male, and I'm not fully transitioning to male, so I'm not choosing a different name, I'm not asking to be referred to by male pronouns. If I were in that situation, like my friend who's in high school has that situation, he's a trans guy, and yeah, it can make things, it can make your education, it doesn't change how people are going to mark, at least I don't think. I don't know. In my limited experience, I haven't seen any discrimination based on that. I don't know. But I don't think it really changes how your teacher is going to mark you. And it certainly hasn't changed. Like, my limited gender variance hasn't really affected how my teachers mark me. It's just kind of get in, do your work, get out. That's it. Pretty much. So it doesn't really affect things. Does it affect the field you choose to go into? If you're cis, do you think you have chosen a different path? Well, like I said, I'm not really choosing a path at the moment. So, in the future, I'm considering to go into psychology, possibly. But that's in the future, so I don't know. Would I choose a different career if I were cis? I don't know. I don't think so. I kind of just want to choose whatever I'm best at and whatever I'm most passionate about, regardless of my gender. Yeah, so for the most part, like I said, I really don't think my gender has affected my education at all. There are other factors in my life that have definitely affected my education a heck of a lot more than my gender. Of course, there are times when my classmates have not always been the most accepting people, but I don't know if that directly has to do with my gender. Um, I've been just not the most popular person, like, ever, in my history of going to school. So, there's that. Whether that had to do with my gender, maybe, because, wearing boys' clothes and that sort of thing is weird. It differs from the norm. So, yeah, it might have played a part. I don't know. I mean, I've just been weird in general. So that's, I think, the most part for why classmates have made fun of me in the past. I mean, I was obsessed with Pokemon and stuff like that for several years. And, yeah, things like that, getting, well, I would think possibly getting higher grades than other people can affect, being one of the smart kids can affect, or being the smart kid, basically, at, in elementary and junior high, can affect, whether people make fun of you. So yeah, I don't know if gender played the biggest part. I don't know. The place that I'm going to currently is not the most, and I know it's a school, they're the people who go to it are not the most well-educated people in terms of everything. So, they're not always going to be, I don't know, like, I haven't had any actual, like, problems with certain people calling me names or anything like that, but I could see it potentially happening. And that's, again, why, just focus on the work and just get the heck out of there. And that's pretty much how it is, at the place that I'm currently going to. So, yeah, like I said, I mean, for the most part, gender doesn't really make a whole lot of difference in education. Just in terms of, every now and then, classmates can be not the greatest people in the world. It happens, so that's about it. I don't know. Yeah. So, in terms of the other half of my life, currently, which is my choir activities, gender plays a role, but I think I personally think of it as something bigger than it actually is. Because my choral director is 110% supportive of my gender expression. He is perfectly okay with me wearing the men's uniform, which is fantastic. He is perfectly okay with, well, for now, he's okay with me being a tenor. But as I stated previously in a different video, I believe, I mentioned an incident where he told me that, we had a short discussion, and he told me that he thought I would blend better with altos than with tenors. So that was kind of a, well, gee, now I'm dysphoric about my voice, thanks a lot kind of moment. Because I've always thought of myself as a tenor, and that's what I've always done, is just sing with the guys, right? So that's kind of, but he says, it's not, doesn't have anything to do with your gender identity, it just has to do with, biology, right? So, I'm physically female, so I mean, there's some things that you can't help. But he's totally supportive of my gender expression and identity, and he'd be totally okay with me being an alto and still wearing the men's uniform, which is pretty awesome. Like I said, I think I make it out to be a bigger thing than it actually is. Like, I sometimes worry about, will people discriminate against me because of I'm very out to everybody in my choir about being genderqueer, and although most people in the choir don't know everything about being genderqueer because they're all cis, as far as I know, except for one person who may not be totally cis. But anyways, they are, they don't know everything, of course, about being genderqueer, so they don't always know the right things to say sometimes, but they're totally supportive regardless. If they don't know everything, they're still accepting 110%. So, and they don't really care that I'm genderqueer. So it's kind of the thing, like I said, I make it out to be something that it really isn't. It's not. I think to myself that it has an effect, but it doesn't really. It does in my own mind, right? Because I'm, dealing with, like I said, like I might be becoming an alto, and I kind of don't want to be one of the girls, and so I'm kind of having thoughts about that in my head and thinking over those sorts of things. But yeah, for the most part, gender doesn't affect my success in choir. I mean, it does in terms of, yeah, I'm a girl physically, so, anyway, I went through that. So, that's about all I can say, really. Gender definitely does not affect my education. Again, there are moments when I think it does, but it really doesn't. It doesn't affect the way that my teachers are going to mark me. Like, it's not a thing. So again, that's about all that I can say for this week. I'm sorry that I'm unemployed and I can't really answer the question, directly answer the question, but, yeah, that's about it. So, see you guys next week. Bye.